Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it.
Do it.
You won't.
Do it.
It's going. And that
Do
says
it.
meeting is now streaming.
Oh yeah.
Instead
Stream
of-
me, daddy.
There we go. Cool.
Oh my.
Very nice. Awesome. It worked this week.
We're so
Whee!
professional when we do these.
Okay, let's see if the
openings
chat
and-
comes up. Let's see if the chat and the chat comes up.
Oh, should I be watching this on YouTube unmuted
You're
while
more
I'm
than
doing
welcome
this?
to.
I feel
No,
like
I
this
mean
is,
if you want to.
I feel like this is the logical.
We're not going to tell you no because this is the 3-episode podcast. Welcome, folks. Justin, take it away.
Yeah. As John said, welcome to another episode of the 3-episode podcast. We're continuing our franchises trio, talking about some famous franchises. We talked about sci-fi last week, so that was like Star Trek and Star Wars. We're going to follow it up this week with some action ones, which is James Bond, and we're going to talk about some Riddick tonight, that kind of stuff. So without further ado, I am your host, Justin. Joining me as usual is my brother, Ryan, who's Vin Diesel's agent. We have Steve on, who missed us last week.
Did you call him Steve on?
Yes.
Is this like
He has a
Steve O's
on.
awkward cousin?
No, he has a Steve on.
I don't want to talk about that, but yeah.
Nice. We have John.
Hey, folks, I'm drinking wine tonight because I'm a classy bitch.
And then, John, do you want to introduce our guest?
Yeah, so this is a really awesome streamer friend of mine, and I'm so excited to have met her like 4 or so months ago, I think it is now. But this is Laura. She's a sweetheart, and after this, at the very end of the show, we're going to tell you where to find her on Twitch.
Yes.
Hey, oh, I love it. Thanks for the shout out. I'm also drinking wine.
You can just drink it right from the bottle. I've done it before too.
I could. You're right. Why dirty a glass, right? Because I'm not
seriously, less dishes.
I'm just the bitch part, not the classy part.
Nice. I like it.
You're a sassy.
So the way we're going to do this and the way that we were doing it last time is we're going to talk about a movie franchise. We're going to talk about how successful the franchise is, how many bad films or movie parts or TV parts they had versus good, and whether it's still an active franchise or it's dead. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to start off with Bond.
Well,
this is one...
Justin, before we go any further, should we define dead at the moment?
Yeah. Okay. So if we wanted to find dead, it's how long since they've had, any kind of successful thing come out. So how long? We'll say maybe 5 years.
Successful should be a qualifier because we all agree that the last 2 Terminator films were hot dog shit, but I mean, they kept the series going a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's just make it a quantifier of how long ago the last thing came out.
Okay.
How about this? No current projects.
Well, no, because at the moment, I mean, there's no current Iron Man projects, but there's still like things. Well, there's Armor Wars. Shut up. Never mind. But like, I don't think that would kind of relate to the in-universe type situation. So let's keep it vague for now, and we'll get into it later.
Okay.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Let me turn that label away from the camera because we're not sponsored by Gatorade.
You know what else we're not sponsored by? High Limb Cidery, Val.
Yeah.
That's for later.
It was not even on. Okay, so let's start off with some Bond. So Bond is a very successful franchise. I forgot to grab how many films they have. But Bond has a lot of films. Is there any TV spin-offs? I know there's video games.
TV series?
Yes, TV series. Is there anything TV wise for Bond that I'm like totally blanking on?
I don't think so. And you know what? Honestly, that's really shocking to me the more I think about it, because it wouldn't be a hard thing to do as a TV show nowadays. No. Like I could totally see HBO like picking it up and being like, okay, we're gonna do like a 6-episode, 12-episode James Bond movie. And
a trailer's gonna drop next week now, right?
Yeah.
HBO, because HBO is doing everything. Now there's a trailer's gonna drop next week now that you've said that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So there's 24 official James Bond movies. How many good ones and how many bad ones? Yep.
There's how many?
24.
Made 4.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 24 James Bond films. A lot of them are older films. I mean, we have Connery, Connery, sorry.
Yeah.
Connery,
Sean
Niven, Lazenby, Moore, Dalton, Brosnan, and then
Mm.
Craig.
Love Brosnan.
Yeah. Oh
Big
yeah.
facts.
Pierce Brosnan is probably my favorite.
He's mine
But
too.
let's just talk about like good versus bad. How many good films versus bad films? How many of those films have you seen? How many of them do you think are good?
Now, here's where it gets iffy because I have the fondest memories of some of the original ones. Like Goldfinger is my absolute favorite because that's the one that is the heist on Fort Knox.
Fort Knox, yeah.
Right.
And it becomes the joke in Austin Powers later on with Goldmember.
Yep.
But I mean, looking at the more recent ones, like I genuinely dislike all of the Daniel Craig films.
Why?
Good.
Okay, tell me why.
Good. See?
I'll get into that in a second, but I mean, the other ones that I'm, on the fence about, like I like 2 of the 4 Pierce Brosnan films.
Oh, okay.
Which
Being-
ones?
I like Goldeneye a lot.
Well, of course. Yeah.
And that's because I, grew up with the N64 game that your mother used to not let me bring over to your house.
Yeah.
Love you, Mom. Now look at your sons. And I like the last one he did, the one with the dude with the diamonds in his face and all that.
Yep.
I didn't like
World
I
is
didn't
Not
like
Enough.
The World is Not
World
Enough.
is
And I
Not
didn't like
Enough.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
No,
Yeah.
World is Not Enough is the diamond face, isn't it?
Yes,
What's
it
that?
is.
World
no,
is Not
it-
Enough is the diamond face.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is.
Hang on, let me just double check this.
I'm
It's
almost
also-
100% certain it is.
Die Another Day was the one with the diamonds.
Oh,
in the
okay.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Die
And that
Another
was the
Day
one with Halle
it.
Berry.
That was also, with Halle Berry when she comes out of the ocean. She just
Yeah.
comes out of the fucking ocean.
Oh,
Yes.
is that why you like it?
Yeah, it's a good part of
Diamond
it. It's a very good part of it.
It's
But
the best
younger
part.
than you may or may
It's
not
a very good part of
have
it.
a few times.
Keep in mind, like that came out in like that came out about the same time as Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers came out.
Oh, yeah.
You mean? Never mind. I'm not going to go
If you
into
fucking
my.
say it, I will drive down there and slap you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in Connecticut this week, and I'll kick your ass then. Like
I'm not going to go
Yes.
into it.
Just
fine.
send me what you want to say and I'll say it. I don't feel bad.
dude, I'll drive down and I'll burn. No, you know what, Steve? I'll burn your fucking house down.
Oh, I believe
Um,
it.
That got
At least I
exciting.
have I
Um,
have that now on film. So thank you.
Yep. But I mean, like the classic Bond films are, the ones with Roger Moore and Sean Connery are considered the best of the best for that whole series.
Right.
And it's all in the eye of the beholder. I mean, the 007 Days of Christmas was one of my favorite things growing up, and it used to piss off my mother all the time because me and my dad, it was the one time we can win the controller wars when we worked together.
Oh, that's so sweet, so touching.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
So I
made it
mean,
a Christmas movie.
as far as successful, I guess it's all in the the taste of whoever, because I like Daniel Craig's movies. I'm gonna say the two out of 3 that he's done so far.
He's done 4, I thought, though.
Is it 4 that he's done?
Because there was
Well,
Casino Royale,
yes,
Quantum
this is
of
number 4.
Solace, Skyfall was
Right,
the
okay.
3rd.
Casino
then
Royale, Quantum
Spectre
of
just
Solace,
came out.
Skyfall, Spectre. Yeah. Okay. So Casino Royale, I liked. Quantum of Solace was okay. Skyfall, I liked because the villain was amazing, and then
Mhm.
Spectre was kind of boring. I didn't like Spectre. So that's how I feel about the Daniel Craig, but I still like him as Bond. I still think he brings like a certain I don't know thing to Bond. We'll see what No Time to Die is. Pierce Brosnan is definitely my favorite.
Mhm.
With Goldeneye, let's see, Goldeneye, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, and Die Another Day. So he did 4. I think
put
I
this
agree
into
with you.
perspective, The World Is Not Enough, which I think was his second one, the first one right after Goldeneye,
Yeah.
came out right around the same time as the Titanic film.
Yeah, 1999. Yep.
That was my first Bond film in theater.
Oh.
Okay.
It was also my last Bond film in theater.
Yeah. I mean, Die Another Day is the one that's famous for basically they called it James Bond jumping the shark.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
the amount of CGI and shit that was used in it. Like
And
they
had the invisible cars in it. They had the space laser. They had the hovercrafts at the beginning. They had an Asian man who became a white British man who doesn't have to sleep. Like, there was so much dumb shit in that film that it really was more of like a sci-fi action film.
But see, no, it's not. That is good. That is the formula for good James Bond. That's why you don't like Daniel Craig movies. Deep down, that's why you don't like.
I can defend why I don't like Daniel Craig. It's because the films themselves bore me. But just like how Justin doesn't like the Lord of the Rings, I do not like Daniel Craig. Or Daniel Craig's 4 films. Like, the first one I kind of like because I get it where it's going. Like, it's a new James Bond. He's just assumed the mantle, things like that. And then after that, it just becomes generic action film, just like the Bourne Identity did.
Right.
Yeah.
The first one was cool because he has no memory of who he is. He's piecing it all together.
We'll get that. That's
I'm building the parallel
down
for later.
Okay.
And then after that, it's I'm a super soldier with a gun, and I play Call of Duty once in my life, and I can't die. Like,
I'm gonna disagree with you when we get to Bourne about that because I have my own feelings about the Bourne franchise. But as far as James Bond, what about the older ones? How do you guys feel about the older ones, like Sean Connery and?
What my problem with the Daniel Craig ones and why I think they feel so boring and why they feel so out of touch is because the old ones had that like slight bit of camp in it. Even the books have slight bit of camp in it. It's like a little bit more. They're not trying to be realistic. They're trying to be more than realistic. Even Sean Connery had a fucking jetpack at one point.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And the other great one is it's that classic one, I think it was Moonraker, where they're like in the desert and he like escapes in like a Mars rover. Like, it's so outlandish, but it's funny.
Yeah.
It's good. It makes it interesting. It's like, oh, if I was a super spy, I would have to deal with super weird situations.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to the Daniel Craig movies and it's just like, no, that's like real spy shit. Yeah, it's too close to reality. Except for, I guess, was it Spectre or the one where he ends up with like M at the end, like he's explaining who he is and stuff like that with her in the house and shit.
No, that's Skyfall. You're talking about Skyfall. That's the
Skyfall.
one that had what's his name as the bad guy, and he plays. In my opinion, he's one of the best Bond villains.
Yeah,
that they've ever had.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to talk about the classic ones for a while. I mean, we're going to gloss over the racism because we can't.
Or the sexism, or the, you know.
I mean, I try to look at things as a work of art for the time period they were. And it's not an excuse, but, you know, and somebody out there in the internet world can write me a nasty letter. It's johnrivniak@gofuckyourself.com. But I mean, like I think it was like the 1950s and 60s when these were initially written, like it like the world was a boys club. There were no, it's how it was. And I don't like to say it that way, but it's true. And
Goldeneye has like one of the strongest female, like
absolutely. And in the next one, Lucy Liu is probably the second strongest female characters we see, because she's an actual like I think it was Chinese spy.
But would we call the ones with Pierce Brosnan, like, would he be one of the classics, or is he towards the new ones?
The ones from like the early 60s, like the Sean Connery and the Roger Moore films, are a product of a time period when misogyny and bullshit like that was prevalent and widely accepted.
I mean, it's common in a lot of things from then, like
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit,
Yeah.
all of that.
But I think
there's
that,
not one single woman on this journey. What about me? No Legolas here. Just have long hair.
I think the one big difference.
I need to step away. I'll be right back.
Is
I never thought about that until this moment. There's not a single woman on the whole journey.
On the journey, no, but you got Arwen, you've got Galadriel. I mean, there's plenty of female characters.
Yeah.
It's just that in the actual fellowship, it's a group
when
of
they
men
needed somebody to save the world, they didn't call any women.
No. And that's why, like, as a girl, like reading those books, like, and then watching James Bond, like, you know, it was like a lot of like, wait a minute, there's no girls. And then when there are women, it's Halle Berry coming out of the water half naked.
No.
And then later on in full leather.
Goldeneye has two very strong female characters in it. You have the Bond girl of it isn't really like a Bond girl. It's the girl from the radar station.
Yeah,
and
Natalia,
she's like badass because she's like always surviving and shit. But then you also have the Russian spy woman who literally kills men by making them eat her out and then squishes their faces and kills them. Like attempt to kill Bond that way.
It's like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, like this is like the whole thing that she does. She's like, oh, it's great. But yeah, and then like the Daniel Craig movies are just like, it kind of goes back to the misogyny a lot. Like it's just like, oh, that's the damsel in distress that Bond cares about. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, well, because they use that to their advantage in the newer ones.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I would also say that with the classic with the classic James Bond movies, that Sean Connery is probably the top one. Anytime I've talked to people about James Bond, they're like, they love Sean Connery.
Yep.
So I'm actually really happy that sitting here, Justin agrees that he loves Pierce Brosnan. Like that's my favorite.
The thing is though, is that the Sean Connery ones, like if I go down the list, the first one was Dr. No, which was an absolute classic. From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, which I said was my favorite. That's the third one on the list. And then after that, his last film was You Only Live Twice, which was, again, it was good, but you know, it kind of happened. And then George Lazenby only gets one, and it's so forgettable and so boring. I think that's the one that he only gets one shot at it, and that's all they gave him. And then after that,
they basically try to make it a comedy.
What's that?
They basically try to make it a comedy. That's
I think that's the one it was.
So it was too much camp for you.
Yeah, and then Roger Moore takes over in 1973. After Sean Connery does Diamonds Are Forever in 1971, because they're like, we got to recuperate from this. And Roger Moore was our James Bond until 1985 with A View to Kill.
Yeah. Is A View to Kill where his wife gets killed? Bond's wife gets killed?
Let me double check.
Google's amazing.
I've only seen like 4 James Bond movies.
Which 4, Steve?
Oh, hell if I know.
Oh. Which one? One of my favorite ones is the one with the giant satellite dish, and it's in
Goldeneye.
Well,
that's
right,
Goldeneye.
That's
Goldeneye. Time out, because there's like 4 of those at this point.
Wait, it's the one from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's Goldeneye. That's Goldeneye.
Okay.
They go to Cuba, and that's where Sean Bean dies.
Because that's one of my favorite ones, because I've personally have been there, and I was like, oh, they got my home, Puerto Rico, and a James Bond movie. Like, that's so cool.
You know that it got destroyed last year, right? Yeah.
Yep. A lot of things did. There's yeah.
Yeah, let me kill some time while Justin's out and about. I mean, the premise of this whole of this trio was like the universe itself. Do you, Ryan, and Steve, and Laura, and not Justin because you're not there, think that the video games have helped add on to that?
Not really.
No.
They made one real attempt to add on like a unique Bond story, and that was with the PS2 title. Oh God, I can't remember what the actual.
Was it the one that
game-
had like the helicopter in the trailer?
It had the helicopter in the trailer, and it had its own Bond song and everything like that. And it was all about a space laser, also.
Oh, more space
but this one
lasers.
was like red. It was a weird thing.
I personally have never played any of the James
Bloodstone?
Bond games.
I mean,
You
the
never
only
even played GoldenEye?
I've never played a James Bond game. You see, yes, I'm a streamer and I play a shit ton of video games, but I am PC Master Race all the way. I have never owned a
Okay.
console. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if they've ever made a James Bond game for the PC. If they did, it was not big enough for me to be interested in gaming with it.
Not recently. Not recently. Unless you count the GoldenEye remake that they did using the what's it called engine? Not Valve engine. Oh my God. The one that
I like Valve.
yes, they remade GoldenEye using fuck, I can't think of it. The engine behind Half-Life 2.
Oh shit. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm blanking on it too myself.
Yeah.
Because I played all those games.
Yes.
Those are the
Half-Life,
classics for
Half-Life
me.
2.
Yep.
Starship Troopers and all that.
So, I guess the reason I asked that question is because I have very fond memories of two 007 games.
Yeah.
Agent Under Fire and Nightfire. And I very, easily remember playing at least one of those with you, Ryan, on...
I think it was Nightfire. It was the one that it had the one map that it was a ski slope.
Yep.
And you used to sit at either the top or the bottom, and
Yep.
they had remote control helicopters.
Yep.
You would get in the remote control helicopter, try to kill the other person before they killed you. Yes, that's exactly. Yes, Nightfire is the one that's the one that had its own storyline and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was unique from the movies. But
same with Agent Under Fire, because
yeah,
I remember that one too. Is there was a ton that we just kind of, we look back at these things now, and I don't remember the story for most of the games that I've ever played. But then I go back and I think about the games that I had like a fond memory of, and I go, what was the story of that? And I go, oh yeah, you had to stop X, Y, or Z. And it's like, that's all there was to it.
I think there's a lot going off on a tangent. There's a lot of games that like I only remember the main storyline vaguely. Like Halo is like, oh, you're on a Halo. And there's bad aliens here, and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and stuff happens.
Thank you. Yes.
That's the storyline from the beginning to the end, like every single game, except
I thought Halo was super boring for that reason. It was just like the same thing over and over, and I'm like, for a storyline video game, this really doesn't have a giant.
No,
storyline.
it doesn't. It's got good music. It's got a
It
good.
does.
Yes,
it does. Just like James Bond, it has great music.
Yes, it's got a great story. It's got a great not storyline. It's got a great multiplayer, but that's about it. I don't know.
You're the first
I was
person
always a
I've met.
Killzone person. I love Killzone. Killzone really should have done better than it did. I loved it. It was great, and then it died. Whatever. Hi, Katie.
Well, I mean, so let's transition from there, Ryan, because I was going to try to bring us into something different, and then we got into Halo, which I'm totally cool with, but let's keep with the space theme for a moment.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Riddick.
Okay.
Yes.
Ooh.
Let's talk about Vin Diesel, because he's going to be a bit in this show tonight alone.
I love
Vinny D.
Do you, I mean, Laura, I'm pretty sure you know, but do you folks know how many actual Riddick films there are?
There are
4.
5.
I believe in you guys.
Let's see. The first 3. And then they made 2 more, so 5.
Officially, there's 4.
Yeah, there's 4.
We have Pitch Black in 2000, Chronicles of Riddick. Then there's Dark Fury, which was actually an animated film.
I fucking loved it. It's fucking amazing if you haven't seen it.
And then we just got Riddick 2013. But I do remember, or I should say I vaguely remember there being several comic books.
Yes.
Several video games.
Yes.
You know.
Escape from Butcher Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then you know, and again, we've talked about this before, or this series before too, of like the kind of fucked up planets and stuff that are on that series. I mean, we talked about this a lot in one of the last trios, but in your opinions, you know, where do we fall on that? I mean, did it have better good films than bad films, or?
I would say
yes.
Yes.
I would say the only bad movie is the newest movie. I mean, Chronicles of Riddick itself is like kind of, it's hokey, but it's still fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see the newest one as just a remake of the original one plus a dog.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it really was.
It felt fucking pointless. The whole movie felt fucking pointless because you had like this really cool universe set up in Chronicles of Riddick and Dark Fury. That there was more going on in this universe, that there was the Furians, and there was like the I can't remember what their names, the people that he became like the head of and stuff like that. Huh?
The Necromongers.
The Necromongers. Yeah. And there was magic in the universe with the Windwalker
Elementals.
Played by Dame Judi Dench, so she's keeping herself in this speech for a little bit.
Yeah. And instead they go back to the first movie, and it was just the dumbest thing, because they could have like expanded that universe out so much more, like explain the Furian wars and explain like all these things. They could have, even if they had made a live action movie of Dark Fury, I would have accepted it as a good thing, because Dark Fury is fucking amazing. But most of it can only be done in animation because of like the massive monsters and shit that are in it. But I feel like if they really wanted to, Chronicles of Riddick could have been a continued story, but it's just didn't have good enough box office. And I'm very disappointed in that shit.
No, they really did try to just remake the first one and just add a twist to it, which was their downfall for that movie. Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't even replace Vinny D as the main character at this point or anything like that. You couldn't everybody. There's no way you could. There's no way you could go into this universe without Vinny D. So
no.
I misheard you at first. I thought you said like you could, and I was like, wait a minute.
No.
Because he is the last Furian, so it doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other thing that kind of sucks is, you know, speaking of Vin Diesel, I mean, the other series that was prominent for him in the early 2000s was Triple X.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They got rid of him in Triple X State of the Union to bring in Ice Cube. I was like, what the fuck? Because it didn't make any sense. And then they brought him back. I didn't watch it in the Return of Xander Cage or whatever, just because they realized how much they fucked up in that second film that they had to bring. Yeah. I love your cat, by the way. Hey, folks at home who's not watching this on YouTube, Laura's cat is watching us podcast together, and it's wonderful.
He does this all the time whenever I'm on the computer, especially when I stream. He just likes to sit here. He has a cat roost perfectly right next to my chair, but he refuses to use it, and instead he just sits stands like this right in front of my mic and meows. I don't know if you can hear meowing, but he is constantly meowing at me whenever I'm not petting him, because as you can see, he just wants to be petted. He is my geriatric 16-year-old boy, and he loves to be on the camera.
Just wants to be loved.
Oh, hey, that's the Mid Podcast plug to watch us on YouTube every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. But anyway, I mean, like, it's the same thing for that series, and also, you know, the Fast and the Furious films, which we're going to get to later today as well. Like, there's it sucked when Paul Walker died. And I do think that the movies took a hit because of it. But they still tried to keep the quality up there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I highly disagree with you saying that about Paul Walker, because I feel like they took his death and they were like, we're going to weave it in and we're going to make money because of it. And everything will be okay. And since then, it's just been like pretty ambiguous whether or not he's actually dead in the universe or not. But that has to be answered at the beginning of this movie because his wife's going to be in it. So that'll be interesting. But it's just, I mean,
are we going to be playing catch the ghost in this movie? And by the
No.
time we catch him, he's dead. Like, how are they gonna play that?
Is it bad?
Princess Leia into it too while we're at it.
Is it bad to kill off a character that I mean, like, it would be really bad if they kill him off in a car crash. You better get shot or something.
But it's
wait. But wouldn't it make more sense to kill him off in the car crash to honor what he was trying to do in the first place when he was actually in that car crash?
You mean his own stunts?
I mean, that too. But wasn't he trying to do a charity or something? He was going to the charity?
I think so.
And he died in the car crash going to it?
Something like that.
I just know that I think he was prepping to do a stunt, like with the stunt driver to kind of like get a feel for it, and then he just hit the pole. And it sucks to say, and I really enjoyed the films that I watched him in.
Yeah.
And we all say that like our favorite actors died too soon. We're gonna say it about Heath Ledger, now Paul Walker. There's so many others, and it's like,
I mean, we'll say it about Morgan Freeman, even though he is
even though he's like 97 at this point.
We'll be like, he died too young. Betty White,
he's actually an elf somehow, and he's actually gonna live to be like 600 and like just keep making films for the next half a century. And just like, Morgan Freeman died at the ripe young age of 473. He crawled through a river of shit 200 yards long, and I remember thinking that was the longest thing I'd ever imagined. And that was the length of 2 football fields. And I don't think I could imagine that. Or maybe I just didn't want to.
Now you sound like you're narrating for Forrest Gump over here.
Shawshank Redemption, but close.
My
absolute favorite film. Hey, let's bring this way back because I got us off from Riddick and just started talking about other things. I did not mean to do that.
I mean, it was a good segue from Riddick.
It was a pretty solid segue, but I feel like we didn't even like scratch the itch that was Riddick. So,
I mean, that itch will always be there.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I love Vin Diesel. There's very much something there about his voice. I love his voice. But no, like the Riddick Chronicles, like all of his movies for that entire series was on Sci-Fi, like the old classic Sci-Fi channel when I was younger. And those are like my favorite films. And I remember like when I was younger, like I grew up in a very strict household with a very strict father who would not let my brother and I watch majority of the things that would come on Sci-Fi. But my father actually really liked the Riddick Chronicle movies and would actually like let us watch those. So that was a real treat for me. And I was always terrified of the dark because of the creatures that would.
Oh, from Pitch Black?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was one that came out, 99, I think it was. So like.
Yep. I was like 5.
I was, I think, 9, and holy shit, did that movie scare me.
It terrified me. And even to this day, I was watching like
2000. There we go.
2000. Okay, I was 6.
Baby.
Well, I am a baby. but with those movies, like even now today with BuzzFeed did a video where they were going through and doing some of the scariest aliens in films.
Mhm.
And Riddick was one of the top ones with those creatures from Pitch Black. And I'm like, yep, sounds about right. I love horror. I love
It also
sci-fi.
had one of the best endings, I think.
Pitch Black was by far my favorite out of all of his.
I think that one is also my favorite, just because of it was
The introduction
such a
to him.
nutty concept for
The
like
in-
how they were going to get themselves to that ship, and it somehow kind of worked and also didn't at the same time. Like, I remember, watching that film as a 10-year-old and going, oh, the pilot lady's going to live. She's the main character, da-da-da-da. And then the very last scene of her is her being dragged away by one of the aliens to just be like ripped apart. And just going, holy shit, no one's safe.
It's like Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Except for Vinny D. Vinny D
nobody's
is always safe. He can't lose.
That is true. I don't think he has really died in many of his films.
No.
Gosh, thinking about it, I don't think he does.
He contractually cannot die in his films.
Saving Private Ryan.
Oh,
that's true. But that was before he was Vin Diesel. He was just
You're right. He was
random side character.
He was baby Vin. He wasn't big yet. He didn't do, I think, was it the Riddick films? Wasn't that kind of like his very first, like that was his big, like what he came into?
Yeah.
I think so.
The first film I remember seeing him in was Saving Private Ryan. I remember Riddick.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in that area of time before Chronicles of Riddick was also Triple X.
Triple X, yeah.
Yes.
And then Fast and Furious was 2001.
Okay.
Yeah.
To put it into perspective, the first Fast and Furious film, they were stealing VCRs still.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now they're like stopping space lasers in James Bond films.
Hold on.
How the fuck old is Vin Diesel at this point?
I
that's
think
a good
he's like
question.
55.
He has to be in his 50s.
I love that we're all like on our phones, like trying to Google these things like on the air. And we're like, I wonder.
We are all knowing. We are doing phoning a friend, and the
Vin
friend
Diesel's
is our phone.
53 years old. He was born in 1967.
53 fucking years old, and he's still supposed to be playing this like, oh, I'm a badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Can I just show you the greatest picture of Vin Diesel I just found?
He looks so good. He's like with Dwayne Johnson. That's his dad bod?
Yeah, that's his dad bod.
Yeah. Yes. Dad bods. Let's take a moment to appreciate all dad bods out there.
So I think we're in agreement. At least 2 of the 4 are good films of his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been happy with just Pitch Black, but it makes me happy that Dark Fury and Chronicles exist. But like, they didn't need to make it a franchise. They just decided to franchise it.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think the reason that Chronicles doesn't bode well for me is I believe that one ended up being PG-13 after the R-rated film that was Pitch Black.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it was.
We talked about this last week with Alien versus Predator going from, the R rating of the films down to the PG-13 and how much it suffered. I think that was another case where they were trying to appeal to this broader audience and do callbacks to Pitch Black with all the other people. And oh god, I can't think of the guy's name. The black like priest dude who ends up dying about midway through the opening acts when the Necromongers invade. All of that.
Abu al-Walid.
Thank you. I couldn't think of his name, Justin.
Do you just have that written down, or did you pull that from the top of your head?
I'm just really good at Googling.
Oh, man. You see, we've been pulling our phones up while you've been gone, and like you can visually see our phones up.
Well, Justin,
and like
in
we
the words
can't
of
see
Kelly
your phone.
Clarkson, since you've been gone, ... we've swapped off of James Bond. We went to Riddick, and then we tangented over to Triple X, and then Fast and Furious, and then we came back to Riddick, and that's where we're on now.
Okay, that's fine.
Paul Walker died, so we decided to just go back to Vin.
Yeah. We did hit that moment where we're talking about his death, and we're like, well,
Justin,
we literally killed the mood.
Justin, do you realize Vin Diesel is closer in age to our father than he is to us?
Yeah, I knew that.
I mean, Vin Diesel is almost my father's age. He's like 3-4 years off. Oh, you China.
He's 53. He was born July 18th, 1967.
Yeah, we already talked about that. God.
Sorry.
Get your shit together, Justin.
I was trying to get my son to calm down.
Don't lie to us. You were having a cocktail.
And what it must be like to have children and use them as an excuse for everything.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, having kids, get an extra $300 in stimulus money.
If only that's all it was, right?
Yeah.
My cat's a child, right? Where's my $300?
So, where would you like to move us on to next?
Well, we can
49. Fuck.
Who?
Yeah.
Just 49?
The Rock is 49.
Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of skipped past Ip Man, Indiana Jones, and John Wick. Do we want to cover one of those?
If I'm honest, I didn't remember the list, and I didn't see it in the chat until about 3 minutes ago before you came back.
There's a chat.
Okay. Has anyone but me watched like a majority of the Ip Man movies?
I've watched like 2 of them, so that's why I didn't know if we wanted to cover Ip Man.
I've watched none.
Yeah. I highly recommend them if you're ever in the mood for very good kung fu.
I just did that with all the Mortal Kombat movies, which is not on the list, and I'm sad.
Not on the list this week.
Oh.
Right.
Oh.
Do they go with the horror that we're going to do next week? Is that just because how
Justin,
bad they are?
Yeah.
Just before we totally move on, we came up. There's 4 Riddick-based movies, being Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, Dark Fury, which was more of like an animated CGI type film.
Yep.
And then the new 2013 one. Of those 4, how many are good?
3. In my opinion.
And you're okay.
Okay.
Yeah, in my opinion, 3.
Is the bad one the last one?
I don't like Dark Fury, but that's just my own thing.
You don't like Dark Fury? Is it the animation?
Yeah, it's the animation style. I just
Oh, we don't have a weeb here amongst us. Okay.
I mean, speaking of weebs, Final Fantasy.
Ew.
I've also never played a Final Fantasy game in my life.
Oh, and
my God.
Kitty ear headphones, and you're calling people a weeb, and you're going, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, I've never played a Final Fantasy game.
So there's Ip Man, there's quite a few of those. I've only seen 2 of them, and there's a new one that just came out in 2019. So yeah, I need to catch up on those. What about Indiana Jones? That's one that I wanted to touch on at least a light.
That's a good topic.
I mean, if we do Indiana Jones, could we also do Lara Croft?
Ooh,
okay, that's fine. That's one of those that I didn't add on that I knew that we were probably gonna like get
touch base on.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't mind going to touch base on that one.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree.
I agree.
There's was it 2 or 3 Angelina Jolie films?
In the Lara Croft? There's 2.
2.
Okay, but there's 3 films.
Yes. Because they rebooted the franchise the same way that they rebooted the video game franchise.
Yes.
Right.
Is what happened.
And the movie came out about the same time as the newest game.
Yep.
Yes.
And who was the actress that they tried to base her off of in that one?
Oh, not as good as Laura.
What's her face? Transformers, right?
No, it was not Megan
basing?
Fox. It was not Megan.
No,
Fox.
Alicia Vikander is the actress that plays Lara Croft, and they based the video game one off of the movie one.
Okay.
Basically.
Whereas I think the Angie Jolie ones ended up becoming the reverse, where they happened to start building a character and they made her have triangle boobies, and they're like, you know what? She looks like Jolie. Let's make it forever now.
To be fair, the Tomb Raider games ended because they came out with one that was so abhorrently bad that they turned around and they said, we cannot release any more of these games because they spent so much fucking money on Dark Angel. And when it came out, it crashed like a fucking train wreck. And they lost so much money off that game that they were like, we're stepping off of Tomb Raider games. And the only reason they re-released, they did the newest one is because it was a completely different game style with a completely different character and like a different kind of like mindset. So they decided to go that way, and it did really well. It's a really good game. I played all the way through I think there's 2 of them out now. But I played all the way through the first one. It's very good. It has like those reactionary button press, like you need to like do things in time or die kind of things.
I hate quick action
God
games.
of War.
Well, it's not all quick action. It has quick action segments.
Trying to get better with Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. It has quick action segments, but it's an action game. So there's shooting bows and arrows and puzzles to solve and all that kind of stuff. Like the classic Tomb Raider stuff, but brought into a new generation. So it's a good game. Like I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the film wasn't bad. I can't say I didn't enjoy the film. So
yeah. I mean, it's the new film. I feel the same way about the new video games as I do about the new films. And that is being a hipster and going, that's not my Tomb Raider. I swear to God.
You want the triangle boobies back.
Yes.
Exactly.
If it's one thing that we've learned from Devin, it's Ryan likes triangle boobies.
I mean, hey, you would really have liked back in like the 50s where
the bullet bras?
Where the bras were very pointy and triangular.
I mean, we could also go back into Power Rangers.
Wait, Devin's
Power Rangers.
We could go back to Rita.
If Devin's watching this, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
I didn't hear any noises coming from the other room, so it's fine, I think.
Okay.
Sorry, Devin. Wake up tomorrow and find out that Ryan was murdered, we'll just assume it was Devin, right?
He was stabbed with triangle boobies.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, I'm going to have to tell her about that now. So she could go strangle you instead of me.
Oh, yeah.
So she cleans things very well. They won't find your body.
Oh, my.
Very true.
I think it's the same thing as James Bond for me, where it's like the new games and the new movie is way too serious. Whereas like the old games are like, oh, you're in a tomb. Oh shit, wait, there's like Egyptians still around inside the tomb and like crazy animals. Oh, is there dinosaurs down here? There's fucking dinosaurs down here.
Yep.
Well, to be honest,
it's just serious.
No, yes, the new game is very serious, but I was gonna say the new game does have tombs. The new game, you are in like tombs and caves and shit in the new game. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
The bar was so low to make a Tomb Raider game that we.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
We added tombs, guys. Now
does a cemetery count as a tomb?
No, the cemetery is a cemetery.
No.
I think
that's one reason Dark Angel crashed and got so bad too, because Dark Angel, it went from being set in like tombs and actually tomb raiding shit, and then all of a sudden they turn around and they say, hey, look what Splinter Cell is doing. We're gonna do that. We're gonna take Lara Croft that way. And if you remember correctly, it was set in like Paris, and like you did like the tomb shit, but you did like buildings.
There's like catacombs in Paris.
Yeah, but it was I don't know. The fans did not like it.
They were in catacombs.
I will say that I think the reason that the Angelina Jolie films are so much better in my eyes is because they actually tried to do some of that kooky shit.
Yep. The Triangle of Fate.
Can you define kooky shit?
Yeah, I was about to. I believe it was the first one. Don't quote me. I don't remember which one was which. But they actually fought like those magical stone monsters, and then she used a pendulum battering ram to destroy the big monster.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shit like that is why I liked that series. And they actually like built the training robot for her to fight, and all that other. She uses a air compression gun and shoots like fucking screwdrivers at people and pins them to the wall, which was a hilariously like over the top like series of scenes.
When they break into the garage, right? When she's downstairs in the garage, they break into the house.
Like aerials from like the silk ropes on the top, like in her like main foyer and all that. And then in the second one, that one is even more over the top because they literally just find Pandora's box and they have Gerard Butler in there and it's like, I'm gonna open it. And then like they tease like she's about to open it at the end, and then she's like, no, and then just like lets it sink away. And it's like, you dumb asshole. Like you could have ruined the world for us.
Okay, let's switch over to what about Indiana Jones?
There's 3 good films and 1 shitty one.
I feel like
I'm sorry, go on.
I do like that they, did the Indiana Jones films and then they went back, and they made one of the more recent ones and they used the same, I'm blanking on his name.
Harrison Ford or Shia LaBeouf.
Not Shia LaBeouf in the woods.
Running for your life from Shia LaBeouf.
He's brandishing a knife at Shia LaBeouf.
When they used Harrison Ford and they actually brought him back in. Like I like that. I like when they like remake or do a newer movie from a franchise and they bring in one of the older actors, even if the movie's not as great. I'm like, oh hey, it's you, but you're older.
The nice callbacks.
They did have nice callbacks in that film. Like again, I'm blanking on her name now, but the good woman from Last Crusade ended up being Shia LaBeouf's mother.
Yeah, but one of the biggest issues with that movie was the fact that they just used her as like a plot point instead of, because they like teased and they were like, oh, we're gonna bring her back, and then they just used her as a fucking plot point.
She's in the
really
movie.
Frustrating. She's in the movie, but she's in
as
the second half of the movie as bait. Yeah, exactly, Laura. She's in it as bait. She's in it as a plot point. She's not in it as like an actual character.
She's like a placeholder. Like
not only that, but the villain woman is so forgettable in that film. Like I'm blanking on her name again, but in Last Crusade, and I'm gonna keep bringing this one up because I love that one so much for how again, that one's outlandish too.
Mm-hmm.
The Nazi woman whose name I'm blanking on. And when she reveals herself, like you actually feel like that little sense of dread, like you don't really notice it. And again, there's just so many great scenes, like the Templar Knight in like guarding the chalices of God. Or the scene in the library when he finds all the different Roman numerals as like the signs, and there's the guy like stamping books, and he grabs like, I think it was just like one of those velvet rope holders, and he smashes down at the same time he stamps the book, and he's just like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's that campy comedy that you don't really get in movies nowadays. It's kind of like I always felt it was that Monty Python effect. It was like they always wanted to do kind of like that comedy and like put that into the movies somewhere. That it just got a lot of those older movies have that kind of comedy, and I don't know, it's funnier than some of the newer stuff.
And I mean, I will shit on the 4th film as often as I can because I don't have any fond memories of it, seeing with my dad at the Strand and Seymour or what have you. But I also remember not loving Temple of Doom again until I went back at it as an adult and trying to watch it.
Well, yeah, Temple of Doom has a lot more horror aspects to it. And I think it's harder to like.
And I mean, I'm also like, I'm a slut for tanks and German fighting and all that shit. So like, I that's why I love the 1st and the 3rd one so much. But you watch that 2nd one and there's a lot of really good memorable scenes, like when he rips the heart out and he's just like, Kalima. Oh, Justin, just so you know, another thing you missed earlier was I did a really decent Morgan Freeman impression. So you can go ahead
Okay.
and
Great.
use that for a ringtone later. That'd be
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it was recording, so I'll get it.
yeah.
It'll be
Or
there.
was it?
I
don't know.
believe so.
My personal opinion is they should have the franchise should have stayed dead. It should have never come back.
Because
no reason.
they're working on another new one right now.
Yep.
How? He's like
they are.
80 fucking years old.
Is he?
What is the
he?
storyline?
Is he really? Google it. I'm Googling it.
Is the treasure
He was
going to be
30 when
panties?
Star Wars came out, and Indiana Jones came out like a couple years later. So yeah, he's very old.
Yeah.
He's 78 years old.
Yeah, that's pretty damn close.
Damn, he looks good though.
Right?
78 years old. Like, okay.
Indiana Jones searches for his blue pills.
Yeah.
I like how when you look him up, by the way, that all of the movies like that you see him in, the ones that they first show you are literally like all of the Indiana Jones movies and then Blade Runner.
There you go.
And fuck Star Wars.
Star Wars isn't even Star Wars is like further in. You got to really go in to find Star Wars.
Which is crazy because he was like a carpenter before that movie. So,
Yep.
Yeah, that's insane. But yeah, so you're right. The last Indiana Jones movie, they are working on a fifth, but the last Indiana Jones movie was just insane levels of craziness bullshit that just got in. Shia LaBeouf is his really annoying son is just bad, and then
from your stupid son, he's brandishing a knife. It's your dumbass son.
Yeah.
And he plays a greaser, and he just plays like one of the worst interpretations of a greaser I've ever seen in any kind of film or TV. It's almost like if there was greasers nowadays, I'd be offended.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad it was.
Run, pony boy, run!
Yeah. And then there's, I don't know if any of you have ever seen it, but there's the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones. I saw there was like 20 episodes of it.
Yes.
It was like a TV show at one point.
I vaguely remembered that, and I remember so many books.
When is that from?
I don't know. It's called like The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what do you think the actual plot of this new Indiana Jones is? Is it going to be his grandson, do you think? Do you think it's going to be him teaching his grandson or something like that? Does he have to go back to the chalice?
Back in my day.
Back in my day,
I fought Nazis. I fought the Nazis.
Day, I had to run away from big old boulders rolling down.
Oh my god.
So
Indiana
for
Jones
perspective, that
versus
young
the
Indiana
internet?
Jones show only lasted like 16 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it started in March 4th, 1992 and went to July
24th the following year.
1993. Yep. And that is before I was born. That might explain why I never watched it.
Youngin.
Wow.
Am I the youngest one here?
Yeah.
Wait, how do we not have a trailer for this? It says that Indiana Jones was supposed to be in cinemas in 2019, and the date was shifted back to July 10th, 2020, and now it's back again to July 9th, 2021. How do we not have a fucking trailer?
They're just gonna blame it on COVID.
There was, I bet they were about to put it on a plane to ship it somewhere, and
then the
Harrison
red line
Ford
came up behind
was
it.
like,
and they
Harrison
stopped
Ford
the
was
train.
like, fuck
And
it,
then
I'm driving the plane. Huh?
I was doing the Indiana Jones joke where they have the plane go over the map and it's just a red line everywhere they go.
The current date for the
Or-
release of this is July 29th, 2022.
Even better, it was placed on a ship and it got stuck in the Panama Canal.
It belongs in a museum.
They're literally shooting this movie over again. That's like that's the only thing that I can think of why they're like, what the fuck? That's why we don't have a trailer and why it's been pushed back so much. They have to
Guys,
shoot
can I
it
do
all over
it?
again.
Even part of it?
Yeah, he's part of it, and what's his name is the producer on it.
Shell.
Harrison Ford?
No. Spielberg.
Oh.
So interesting. Yeah, maybe we'll get a trailer at some point.
Maybe. And then you guys, when the movie comes out, you got to do a recap.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
we'll talk about it.
So.
Yeah, don't worry about that. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
You already know it's going to be a bad movie. It's 100% guaranteed going to be a bad movie. It doesn't matter.
You're going to watch it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, you have to watch bad movies. That's the best way to enjoy movies is to watching
the bad movies. And you got to get a group together so you're all talking during it and like.
Unfortunately, COVID, but you know.
Hey, I mean, we can do a share, like a watch together. So many
Theater 3K this.
Yeah, Miss Oh.
I'm pretty sure there's a way to do that through Zoom, but okay. So I want to move on to the next one, which is John Wick.
Oh boy,
I want to throw it over there.
I genuinely have
the poor dog
of this film.
My only one is the dog.
Yeah, I've only seen the first one, and I watch it on like basic ass cable television, so I didn't get the full effect of it. I like that we, spoiler alert, people at home, just so for John Wick, the first one that came out 6 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the bad guy is fucking what's his face from the Iron Isles. I can't think of his goddamn name, but
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I hated him in Game of Thrones so much that I got to watch him die a second time.
Wait. Who? I'm sure if I watched. He's Theon. Oh my god!
The guy who plays Theon Greyjoy is the guy who murders his dog.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so long since I watched it.
Him up, and then he just comes after him. The whole scene of Theon's father explaining who Baba Yaga is, one of the most amazing scenes in all.
I was just about to talk about that because that scene is better than any of the action scenes in the whole fucking movie. That scene makes the movie. That scene like pulls you into who John is, what's going on in this world, and like in one scene, it both like encapsulates what kind of movie it's going to be, because that's like right at the beginning of the movie. And that is such a perfect fucking scene.
That scene starts. Doesn't that scene start where he gets a phone call and he's like, oh, what did my son do? And he's like, he stole John Wick's car, and he goes, oh, and he just hangs up the phone.
Yeah, no, he called.
Yes.
John Leguizamo, I think, plays the perfect character in this film too.
Yeah,
because he calls him up, or the guy, the Godfather guy, calls John Leguizamo and goes, "I heard you struck my son." He goes, "Yeah, I did. Do you want to tell me why?" "Yeah, because your son stole John Wick's car." And he just goes, "I see." And he hangs up on him and like bitch slaps his son like, "You're a fucking moron. You've just ended our family. Congratulations."
Yeah.
And then there's just like an hour and a half of pure fucking the most pure action in a movie ever filmed.
And it's all practical effects. And the amazing thing is if you ever want to waste some time and watch videos of Keanu Reeves doing some cool shit, you have to watch the training he went through for John Wick and all of the John Wicks, because he's just continued training, because that's just the kind of actor and the kind of person he is. Yep. But the actual hands-on weapons training that he went through for those movies is just insane.
Like at the range, like learning how to fire weapons in all like ways and like proper hand movements, which is, it's not something that a lot of movies can claim. Like there's so many times where like you're watching a film and they've got their finger on the trigger and around it, like ready to go, and they're like right behind a person. It's like, you dumbass, like you're gonna shoot your buddy. Yeah. But like you watch like his films, and I even think to a lesser degree, I don't know if he was like full into it at the time, but I think he did some of that in The Matrix.
Yes.
Well, he did kung fu training. He did. Yep. He fully took like it very seriously when he was learning that in The Matrix.
What I'm hearing is, if you want to lose weight or learn how to do a special skill, you go to a movie.
Join a John Wick film, yes.
Yeah, that about right.
Or technically, you get into a movie with fucking short guy. Oh fuck! Why can't I think of
Short guy.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, yeah. Tom Cruise makes you do everything yourself. Tom Cruise is not a stunt. He does. The only time a stunt person makes Tom Cruise do anything or has to do anything is when his insurance company literally turns around and says, "We will drop you if you do this fucking stunt yourself." Yep. And that's it. That's the only time he allows.
But no, that's why Tom Cruise became a producer on all of his movies since like Mission Impossible 3, because if he becomes a producer, he just goes, well, fuck it. We're going to pay for better insurance so I could do my own stunts. Fuck you. I'm the producer, motherfucker. And that's what he did on, the whole reason why they're finally making this brand new Top Gun
he learned how to fly.
Yeah.
He did.
Literally, the whole reason why he didn't make a Top Gun 2 back in the day was because he was like, if you want me to do a second Top Gun, I am going to fly the plane. And they went, fuck you, Tom Cruise. You're not doing that shit. You're kind of famous, but we're not going to do that. Nowadays, they were like, Tom Cruise, you want to go fly a fucking fighter jet? And Tom Cruise is like, fuck yeah, I can. I'm a god. So fuck it. Let's do this shit.
Okay, so just a really quick aside, it's not a franchise. I wish it was a franchise, but one of my favorite action movies of all time and one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies of all time is Night and Day. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's a fucking awesome movie. I love that movie so much.
So Justin, I actually had a series I was hoping we could get into, but I wanna
Lord of the Rings.
Well, no, we've already done that. I wanted to finish up on John Wick because we've only talked about like the first 35 minutes of the first film.
Sure.
So if you guys want to bang out the last two films while I disappear for a moment, I will be right back.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, go ahead, Ray.
The last two films, I enjoy every single film. Personally.
I mean, technically, I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
The second and third films?
The second and third one I still get to see.
How have you not seen John Wick 2 and 3? They're fucking... Did you like the first one?
I loved it.
Then you'll love the second two. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
The third movie, he basically fires a horse like a gun and kills people with a horse.
It's a lot of animal death.
So the third movie, there's no spoilers. This is just spoiling him killing people. So
I feel like a majority of this
movie. So this is what happens.
Yeah.
People are running after him, and he runs into the horse stables for the NYPD, right? And he goes and he runs up past the horse, and then people start running past the horse on the other side, and he starts smacking the horse. And the horse basically kills a guy by decapitation. And he fires a horse like a gun.
So the horse yeets every time he smacks it on the bum.
Yeah. He just fucking fires the horse.
Plus, they are making a prequel TV series called The Continental. About the world of the Continental. It's going to be a TV series, I think, on HBO, if I'm not wrong. It's either on HBO or Amazon. Those are the two, the two that do those kind of things.
Yeah. I mean, I love the series because they haven't really jumped the shark at all. They're just adding onto this very interesting world that makes sense in a lot of ways. And I'm excited for it to continue. Like I could see like John Wick's continuing and like it turning into a franchise where there's multiple people playing the main character. Like it just goes to a different assassin who's the main character or something like that. And they already made basically a film that's basically the same storyline with nobody. I haven't watched it yet, but from everything I hear, it's basically John Wick with the guy who plays Saul. So I mean, like, it's obviously a very good thing. I just hope that the franchise continues because I fucking love it.
It's gonna be on Stars, which means that it's gonna be something I'm gonna have to download. But I mean, find in a different place.
Yeah, I do not have Stars.
I do not download. I am not currently downloading all 3 John Wick movies.
Do you say that, but really, it's like.
I mean, it's in the audio. He said he didn't do it.
No, I know that, but in the background, what you're really going to do what you want because a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yar, har, dee-dee-dar.
Thank you for the longer version of that because I only have a short version of that as a soundbite. Do what you want because a pirate is free. You are. Thanks, John. Okay, so let's move on to Bourne.
Wait, what was the other one we were just talking about too that we wanted to get in on? Because we just talked about John Wick, and then we were branching off into Mission Impossible before we go.
Yes, okay, Mission Impossible. That's on my list as well. Because so we have about like 20 minutes left, so let's like quick fire some.
Let's skip Bourne altogether then. That's totally fine.
That's fine.
I don't have enough to talk about it, but
I like the Bourne films. I like all of the Bourne films except for the one that doesn't have Damon.
Matt Damon.
Yes.
Matt Damon. They also did a TV series which I think was fairly fine. I don't remember exactly if that's a true thing or not, or if that was.
I didn't watch it.
I watched it. It was okay.
I don't have anything terrible to say about the Bourne series. I'll say that I enjoy that. What's his face? The original or the second Incredible Hulk was in it, but that's that. Edward Norton. There we go.
Okay, so if we're going in line, let's do Fast and the Furious really quick first, and then we'll do Mission Impossible.
I mean, we
or do you want to do Mission Impossible because that connects to Tom Cruise, and then we'll do Fast and Furious.
Yeah, let's do some Tom Cruise because I think I wanted to bring this up way earlier, but the reason I don't like the first Mission Impossible film is the same reason that I don't like the Daniel Craig James Bond films, because it's literally so rooted in like real life, and you know it's a generic spy film.
Right.
That it's just like it's a slog to get through. And then as the movies get more and more, it gets bloodier and bloodier and shootier and
more ridiculous stunts and shit.
Blow up the Kremlin. Let's make Tom Cruise hold on to an airplane while we fly away with it, which was practically done, and Tom Cruise did it. Like,
yes.
You know,
I'm gonna let you finish. But the first Mission Impossible is the best Mission Impossible of all time.
No,
I'm not.
Absolutely not.
I'm not saying it's not a best one. I am merely saying that as they get further on and they get progressively more weird, they get more fun. Like they do that weird shit with the masks, and they finally explain how they do that. They have what's his face inject himself with with a virus to smuggle it across, and this isn't the second one. They have Limp Bizkit be the fucking theme song, like.
Okay, so that's the thing. It's okay. So the first one, the idea with the first one, and the first one's amazing, Ryan. Yep. I don't want to say it's the best one, maybe, but I don't think so.
I think you had said that Fallout was the best, and
I love Fallout. Fallout's my favorite,
and I do think I agree with you. I think for that, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I definitely enjoyed Fallout a lot, and I think Ghost Protocol I also really enjoyed too. But
right. So this is what it is. Okay, so the first one was an action mystery. Like that was kind of like
it was a heist movie. It's a fucking heist movie.
No, yes, it's a heist movie, but there's a lot of like the mystery, like the spy mystery kind of shit in there. So the heist is the plot, but as far as the genre, it's an action spy mystery.
Movie.
Like, whatever.
All right, heist movie.
I see where Ryan's going with it, and the reason for that is there was a TV show called Mission Impossible in like the late 60s, early 70s. There was like, I think 30 some odd episodes. Don't quote me on the number. And it's some of the best spy TV show ever. I'm willing to say that, like, it's almost better than some of the James Bond films. It's almost better than Archer is not really a spy show. It's more of a comedy that happens to have
It ran from 1966 to 1973, John.
And I wish I could remember the episode, but they're like, that's a whole world that they then brought on. They took that world with the Impossible Missions Force, and they brought it to the big screen 20 some odd years later, and it rolled, and it did really well. And then, like I said, you get 2, which is more action packed. You get 3, which is even more action packed. And then the other ones, I don't even know what number they're up to, because they stopped saying 1, 2, and 3, and then they went to words, which are fuck them for the Roman numerals. But
I don't like Roman numerals.
I don't either. I don't know what the hell a V is.
No, it's fine.
So they're currently making number 9.
What the hell? Do you want to know how old Tom Cruise is right now, guys?
Is he like
52, 60?
60, I think, right?
He is 58. His birthday's in July. He's about to turn 59.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're about to make it
9
with him.
He's currently take his I don't want to say anything about religion, just whatever, but take his religion aside, as far as an actor is concerned, he's one of the most like dedicated, amazing action movie actors. The whole thing with the cruise line, right? How he turned around during COVID and they were like, you can't shoot your movie unless you have a complete bubble to shoot your movie in. And he goes, okay, I'm going to buy an entire cruise liner and I'm going to put all of my staff and everyone onto the cruise liner. And there we go. There's my fucking bubble. Did it cost me like $50 million? Whatever.
That's amazing. Especially since his name is Tom Cruise and he's like, we're going to film on
so much money coming in from residuals though, that he could literally he could weather a storm and not lose a dime, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
All I know is that based on like his politics, like growing up, my brother and I weren't really we didn't watch Tom Cruise movies much because my father did not watch movies that he did not agree with the politics of the actor. He would not watch their movies. So we would have to sneak away and watch these movies from these actors that my father didn't like on our own time when he wasn't home, because my father hated the politics of Tom Cruise.
Okay, so I don't remember what this is from, but the cruise movie just reminded me of this and I had to find it.
Oh god. Oh god.
Huge dude.
Two Cruise, too huge dude. Nothing to lose. Oh my god.
I
had to find that.
Part of it is that it's Terry Crews, just looking like Terry Crews, and Tom Cruise just looking as though he was told he's not allowed to attach himself to an airplane on the outside and let it take off.
I gotta tell you, I was a little worried when the screen went black.
I was really hoping it was going to be like a porno.
I just stopped talking about politics, the politics of Tom Cruise, and the screen went black, and I was like, wait, what am I allowed to talk about on YouTube?
Got mad at you, so you turned off the router.
I mean, that's not unlikely. That could happen at any point in time. I may or may not be living in my childhood home for now. Thank you, COVID. But no, I was worried that I said something wrong that was supposed to be discussed on YouTube.
Oh no.
Justin was and click.
Listen, we've done some dumb shit on this podcast. You'll be fine.
But then, then John brought up fucking pornos, so I guess I'm good.
So the reason
I wanted to bring up pornos earlier, and I was like, no, I can't behave.
So the reason I was saying that, Rye, and because all the other ones past that, I mean, there's a lot of heist elements, but you're right. The first one has a very heisty, that's the plot. It's a heist movie. But if you take the high octane action and crazy stunts, and you also take the mystery, the spy aspect of it, the Mission Impossible over the years has turned around. And they were like, okay, it's equal in the first one, and they're the second one, they're like, let's take the action and move it up a little bit. Oh, the audience like that. Okay, let's do it. Oh, they okay, and
and there was a YouTube video, and I'm blanking on the name of it right now. I'll find it and I'll put it in the doobly-doo below. But they actually they show they show every kill or every every death in the Mission Impossible films as it goes on, and they put the number in the like as it goes, just like they do for the Star Wars films. Like every time a ship blows up, they say like how many crew were on board, like a Star Destroyer, things like that. How many people do you think die in the first Mission Impossible film?
A lot.
23 million.
Not a lot. In the first one, not a lot. Yeah, there's really not.
One.
All right, I'll say 23. To stick with
I think it's 3. I'm pretty sure it's 3
vibe.
It's actually like 6.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
And then in the second one, they have like
divide 23 by
shootouts. And then in the third one, like I think it was like 16 people die in the first 5 minutes alone. So like it just progressively ramped up. And then we blow up the Kremlin with fucking Simon Pegg, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean that's because the first movie is like actually a spy movie. Like
exactly.
Oh, if I was a spy and I had to get something, I wouldn't want England to know I was there. How do you know people are there? Dead fucking bodies. Oh, there's a spy here.
And it goes back to why I like Casino Royale and don't like any of the rest, because Casino Royale to me feels like a spy film. And then after that, he goes, well, I got my gold skin for my AK-47 on Call of Duty. Let's go fucking. and that's the films for me.
Right. No, that makes sense. I just like Fallout. Fallout is my favorite. I think Fallout was just the perfect blend of everything that Mission Impossible needed to be.
And Fallout was 6, right? Or was it 7?
Fallout was the latest one.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's 7, right?
Fallout, yes. 8. No, it was 8. Right?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. No, 7.
There's
whatever.
There's absolutely no franchise that gets better as it gets older. Especially the last franchise I want to talk about, Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's skip to Fast and the Furious because it's 9:40, and then we'll do Starship Troopers.
I mean, we're already kind of glossed over Fast and Furious too, so we're
we already talked about Fast and Furious a little bit.
If we watch them in the actual order they should be watched, which is like 1, 2, 4, 5, I think 6, Tokyo Drift, 7, 8, 9, and then at some
Steve,
point
you raised your hand?
Yeah, my phone's at 1%.
Oh,
and
no.
I can't put it on the charger because I'm using the headphones.
Oh.
So the minute I cut out is.
Are you using an iPhone?
Oh no.
No, Samsung does the same. Well, he has the USB-C headphones instead of. So
yeah,
I see.
Yeah, it's like
I was like, what? Like.
Okay, so, that's fine, Steve. So
I want to do this real quick though. Recommendation:
Yep.
Dauntless, freaking great game. It's like Monster Hunter, just not Monster Hunter at the same time. I like it.
And also free.
Play it
too, right?
It is free.
And it's free
on Epic Games.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
And on Switch.
Yeah, but
It's on the Switch too.
I play it.
So, go enjoy it. And I want to say, like, comment, subscribe. Please get that in wherever you need to, because.
Oh damn! I was gonna call Devin in from the other room to do it. She'll have to come later.
Steve's got it.
Diggity.
I got it now, but because I'm gonna be like disappearing, like who knows when now.
You know what? Halfway.
I thought we just lost the man.
No, it's been a pleasure. I wish I could say it was a good pleasure, but it's been a pleasure.
I mean, it's always just a thing.
Good job. And there you go. Oh wait,
I'm still here. I just lowered my hand.
Oh, when you raise your hand, your fucking thing moves. Like the video moves to like the top left corner.
Yeah.
Because it wants to like make sure that it knows that you're like, look, this dude wants to talk.
You switch like locations.
Yeah.
So Fast and the Furious, great series. It gets dumb when they try to fight a tank with cars, and I think the 6th one.
Yeah.
I think the high water mark for that series was the 5th movie when they go to Brazil and they steal the safe from the police chief.
The high water mark for that movie was the third movie, which is Tokyo Drift, and after that, it gets fucking ridiculous.
I just love Vin Diesel.
I
And
just
Dwayne
like that
Johnson.
they bring Lucas Black in for about 15 seconds in like the sixth movie, and they're just like, all right, get fucked. And they just like go on their merry way.
Yeah. No, but Tokyo Drift's my favorite out of all of them. I am very much, I have a hard time watching movies that try and make you believe that what they're doing can actually happen without so I like watching movies where ridiculous shit happens, but for some reason the physics breaking in Fast and Furious movies bother the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
I can't watch those movies without screaming at the screen. That's not how that works. So
And I get you there. I mean, I think the reason I like the first three is because those are the ones that actually are grounded in reality, because you have the first one, which is it's a weirdly good film. It had no right to be as good as it was. And if you go on YouTube and watch Vin Wiki, you can actually watch the story about how they got all their cars to like be in the films.
right.
And like the first one, super plausible. Undercover cop meets some street racers, goes undercover, becomes friends with street racers, primo. Second one, disgraced cop, living on a houseboat, races for extra money, gets busted, forced to work for the police again, bring in Tyrese, I guess, whatever. Third one.
Earn that paycheck, Tyrese.
Thank you. The third one is the one that I think I've watched it the least, because it's so awkwardly out of place without any of the characters that I know and recognize.
Yeah, I understand that. I just I don't know. As far as the story and everything, Tokyo Drift's the one that I watch the most, and I enjoy the most. I think it's except for maybe the first Fast and Furious movie, it's the one most based in reality.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The one that I could see actually happening. Han is also one of my favorite characters.
Yep.
So, I mean, you could take the high school hillbilly goes to Japan. Like, you could take that character and give it to any actor. I really don't give a shit. But I love Han. So this is a movie that introduced Han. I can't wait to see him in this new one, even though I know this new one's going to be just like all new levels of physics breaking bullshit. But
did you see the magnet in the trailer that they just fucking
yes
entire
oh my fucking god,
I agree with you that
I watched the trailer. Ryan can tell you, I watched the trailer and I was like, that's not how fucking magnets work.
And then ICP was like, magnets, how the fuck do they work? Miracles.
Yeah. Miracles. Yeah, exactly.
But and that's why I say the fifth movie is the high watermark, because after that is when it gets absolutely redonkulous.
Yeah.
You have The Rock, who uses his great pistol shit to like shoot a helicopter with a single round and blow it up, and at some point they jump out of the airplanes and all land right on the same road that makes no fucking sense. Like, yeah. I'm with you. I am so with you.
No, the worst one. Okay, so the worst one is the fact. No. The connection to the plane thing, the airplane thing that John was talking about. The worst one is the fact that if you watch it, I think there's like 5 cars there, and 4 of them go out one after the other. Yep. And then is it Tyrese? Tyrese is like holding back.
I ain't doing it, and they pull the parachute, and he falls back out anyway and lands first somehow.
Well, if you literally count it, you're sitting there and he's having this conversation. You're like, okay, like 25 seconds has gone by, and then the parachute goes off. And he gets sucked out of the airplane and he lands exactly where all the rest of them are. Yep. And you're like, what? You do understand plane go this way and car, like,
I mean, if you think about it, he didn't land exactly where everyone else landed. He landed in more in the woods.
25 seconds in an airplane that's going forward at any kind of speed to stay up in the air.
I feel ya, but if you remember in the 6th one, they had an airport runway that was literally 35 miles long.
Yes, I know. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And that's why, I keep harping on this. The fifth one is the high water mark because they do some dumb shit in that film, like with the safe where they drag with the two cars, but that's not so outlandish to have to suspend my disbelief. I believe that two cars with as much torque and horsepower as they put in those vehicles have the possibility of doing that. I don't believe, as in the most recent one, that the cars can just magically drive on ice perfectly and succeed in a heist.
A Lamborghini too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's not meant for that.
The scene from that made me mad was the one where he's under the water holding on with his arms to a car door that then gets yanked at like 100 something miles an hour, and he comes shooting out of the water holding onto a door with his arms, getting yanked in one direction at like 100 something miles an hour. Yeah. Motherfucker, your arms are broken.
Nah, he's just strong. He's just strong. He has a strong hands.
Like I do just want to make this known. The absolute greatest line from the entire, I'm going to call it 10 film series, including Hobbs and Shaw, is genocide schmenocide, or whatever the fuck fucking Idris Elba says. Like, good for you. Earn that paycheck, bud. You deserve it.
No, he was a good bad guy. That wasn't a bad movie. If I mean, that is technically in the franchise. So, but that wasn't a bad movie.
I fucking loved.
I wasn't
Hobbs
mad
and
at
Shaw.
that movie. Yeah,
I
wasn't
thought
mad at that
Hobbs
movie.
and Shaw was awesome. It was so fucking good.
Yeah, that was decent.
It was more like a buddy cop film.
Yeah.
Or like an angry buddy cop film. But anyway, can we move on to the last one just so we don't run out of time? I
have 5. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna name it, and then you tell me how many good, how many bad. Just
okay.
Really quick. Rambo.
Oh gosh.
3 good.
I say 2. 2 good.
2
4.
Good. That
4
last
movies.
one was garbage.
The last one was hot garbage, and then the third one where he fights with the Mujahideen is awful.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll Harry Potter, technically action, magic, whatever.
I mean, I'm gonna say like there's 3 good films and the rest is all filler.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I
would say they got better. They got better as they went along. The last 3 movies are the best movies.
Okay. Taken.
I mean, I think
I only like the first Taken film.
The first one.
Like the first one.
Yeah, the first one's the best.
You don't like that you can echolocate with grenades, and that's something you should do in an ancient city? You don't like that?
In the catacombs.
Great.
Yeah.
Underworld.
Ooh.
How many fucking Underworld movies are there? Okay, now I just need to look this up really quick.
6, 5.
I think there's 5, and I believe they also had a TV series.
I don't remember the TV series, or at least I didn't watch it.
Yeah. Okay, so there's 5.
Okay.
Yes.
I might be
with
lying.
a 6th one in production.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, that was good. That's good there.
The first one is the best one. The second one is weird. The third one is the prequel that I kind of like but also hate. And I don't remember the last 2 at all. So I'm gonna say 2.5 out of 5 are good.
Yeah. So Underworld Evolution, Rise of the Lycans, Awakening, Blood Wars, and then the next one just says Future.
Future. Oh.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay. So that's Underworld. And then Rush Hour.
Oh. I didn't.
2 good movies. 2 movies. 2 good movies. That's it.
There's 3 movies.
3 good movies.
2 movies, 2 good movies. That's it.
Okay, and now on to Starship Troopers.
Well, wait. Is there actually a third Rush Hour film?
Yeah, there's 3.
Oh.
I don't remember the third one, and that's a problem because I loved the first 2. I thought they were fucking hysterical.
Well, as my thing always says, they are on HBO Max. Go watch them there. Apparently, there's actually 4, or there's a 4th. Oh, there's going to be a Rush Hour 4.
Oh, neat.
So
summer 2022, there will be a Rush Hour 4, but there are currently 3.
Let's talk on this for a quick moment because I think that Rush Hour had the same problem that Austin Powers did, which is the first film, sleeper hit success, hilarious. Second film, riding the coattails of the first, did a lot of the same jokes. Third one, arguably the most forgettable, probably did a lot of the same jokes, or did some similar jokes that not the same. So just not worth it. I think that's where I'm at. And if we were to do Austin Powers on this list as well, even though it's a comedy, I think it'd be about the same.
Yeah. Okay. I think 3 is the you. Who are you? I'm you. No, I'm me. Who are you? I'm you. That fucking joke.
Yeah.
With Chris Tucker, right? Yeah, Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
Okay. On to Starship Troopers. So you guys can do your little Starship Troopers thing, and then we'll wrap up.
With what? 5 minutes?
Ryan, that's all we need. There's only 2 good Starship Troopers films and an entire good series called.
How many total are there?
1, 2, 3, Invasion, and the one where they're on the spaceship. So there's 5 movies.
Okay.
Yeah. The first one is one of the greatest movies ever made. The second one fucking sucks.
The second one is Species in the Starship Troopers universe.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of these films.
Oh, sweetie, we are watching some Netflix this weekend.
Yes.
Is the first one on Netflix?
The first one is on Netflix, yeah.
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
I'm down. I'm down for this.
The second one is they're in a tower. They have all the aliens surrounding them, and there's a new alien that basically just takes people's mind over from the inside, like the fucking Species series. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Right. The third one is very religious, very gory, has some of the funniest deaths in it, and some of the weirdest new aliens, like that scorpion thing.
Yeah.
But largely forgettable and very religious at the end. The fourth one is the first one where they go to like the anime style.
Yeah.
It follows just a squad of Marines that are tasked with going to rescue Carl, aka Neil Patrick Harris, aka the Nazi. And that's when you find out that the telekinesis in his brain is real and he can actually control bugs now at the very end. And then the fifth one was Traitor of Mars. Ryan, is that the name of it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the fifth one's Traitor of Mars. Probably
The second best of the whole series, and not including the actual TV series, but it's back that animated style. Mars is now being invaded, and there's a whole like weird political thing to it where I don't remember the whole concept, but it's like there's a person on Earth who just hates Mars and Martians and just says fuck them and lets them get invaded by the bugs. But they introduce all the jetpacks and a lot of stuff from the actual book in that film, and it's good action, a lot of fun. Genuinely love the series as a whole. Again, even though I say there's only 2 good films, like the other ones you can watch, you're not going to lose anything out of it except some time. And
just don't watch the second one. That's all.
Just don't watch the second one. The second one's dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
and the third one's super campy, but the first one is camp done right.
Yep.
It's just soap opera stars in space fighting bugs.
Yep.
And it's the best fucking thing.
And I mean, we could do a whole trio on just Paul Verhoeven himself, who does oh god, I can't think of all his films, but he did the one on Mars with Arnold Schwarzenegger and RoboCop and this film here. And he does that. He did these films in such a way that people didn't know that it was supposed to be sarcasm. And that's kind of the thing, is like people see Neil Patrick Harris dressed as a Nazi and they think it's supposed to be a serious thing, when in reality, the whole film was satire. The whole thing, it was absolutely, again, I cannot stress enough how much I love like the series. And I mean, Ryan, I think you and I can agree that the best days in elementary school were when we had that 90-minute delay, because we could watch the whole episode of Roughnecks, the animated series. And they introduced again, folks at home, sorry that we were so out of the way on this one, but the premise of this whole trio was to kind of like talk about the expanded universes of franchises. And that was a series where we had a movie from 1996 or 7, I think it was, that was based on a book from the 50s. And then we got a whole animated series about it like 4 or 5 years later that just built upon that. And then the next movie came on and tried to build upon it a little more. And this is one of those series where it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And as much as I am sad that the characters themselves are growing old and are not able to do these films maybe as justice anymore, I kind of like the animated style that they're going with.
I think it works better in the medium of Starship Troopers and everything like that, in the universe and everything. It definitely works a lot better. I don't know how we still haven't gotten a good Starship Troopers video game. I have no fucking idea.
We're getting an RTS of it soon.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Actually, that kind of makes me think is why am I who the actor who played Rico, Ryan?
Oh God. John, no.
No, his name is Johnny Rico. I can't think of his name right now.
Oh God, I'm picturing his name, but I can't think of what it is. I don't know.
So in like the parody films that have come out, you know, like there's the Starving Games, or, you know, Fanboys I brought up last week. There's one based on Lord of the Rings where it's a clan who are playing Lord of the Rings online, and one of their allies is actually like the stepson of the guy who plays Johnny Rico.
Yeah.
And they get there and they're so excited to meet this guy. And he's like, "You play Lord of the Rings online with us?" He's like, "No, the fuck I don't. You want to talk to my nerd ass stepson?" And it's just like, it's the most amazing thing, because he's led his whole life as Johnny Rico, and in this film he plays even more into it. It's so fun.
Yeah.
I'll send you guys the link later, and we'll see if we can put it on our Facebook page.
There's also, he was in the series done by Alan Tudyk of basically Alan Tudyk playing himself in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in it as a bartender. And the joke was he was always the bartender at every single con, and it was because he couldn't pay he didn't actually make money from going to the con or something like that, so he had to be a bartender or something. It was actually pretty great.
Casper Van Dien, by the way.
Casper Van Dien, there you go.
I'm sad that I couldn't think of his name, but
yeah.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is recommendation time.
Okay, who wants to go first?
I'll tell you what, Laura, you've never done this before, so we'll have you go fourth, and we're going to save the best for last with you on this one. But I am going to recommend our guests right away. If you enjoy a good Twitch stream and you enjoy some fun, Laura streams a whole bunch of things, whether it's 7 Days to Die. I played Phasmophobia with her I think 3 months ago now. She's absolutely hilarious. And if you do watch her on stream, please make sure that she drinks water by spending your froggy points on her. She hates me for it, right? What you don't see is the rage in her eyes, folks at home listening on Spotify. For 10,000 points, you as well as me can make her shotgun an entire bottle of water and just make her mad at you.
They're called tadpole points.
I'm sorry, I thought they were froggy points. I didn't know you changed them.
Oh yeah, I did. As I drink my bottle of wine.
I mean,
that sounds like a John thing to do, though. Drink your water, bitch.
Yeah.
That's essentially what happens.
Otherwise, I got nothing, beyond that. I'm just happy to be back with you guys and just enjoying the time together. And drink your water, bitch. Be a real shame if somebody requested you to drink, take a sip of water. Hydrate. Hydrate.
I will be streaming after this. So.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna go next. There's a game that I
also enjoy Scotch.
Nice.
Oh, you
Good
switched
job,
from
alcoholic.
white wine to Scotch?
I do a shot after every episode.
Oh, I'm not grabbing my vodka.
That's fine. I'll do it alone.
Sounded so sad. There is a game that I grabbed last year that I've had sitting on my Switch that I've never. It's not that I didn't know how to play it. It was just something I picked up, and it's a game that didn't really explain like how you play the levels. It's called Mud Runner American Wilds.
Oh, dude, Mud Runner is so good.
Yeah, and it's so I picked it up. I started playing it. I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is off-road stuff. And then I'm like playing these levels, and I'm like, okay, it never actually explains like how to like win a level or like how to do things. So I would just like fuck around, and then I got kind of not bored, but like I put it down. And I never picked it back up. I just picked it up this week, and I actually watched some like tutorial videos on how to do things, like how to actually like beat a level or get points or unlock achievements. So I've been doing that shit, and some of that shit is fucking hard.
It's kind of like Ryan and I playing fucking Farm Simulator 2019. Like, it's not supposed to be like a
Valheim.
What?
Valheim.
Oh God. It's not supposed to be like an easy game, but like once you get something and you get it really good, just like, yeah, I fucking did that.
Yeah.
Did that.
Yeah, it's really rewarding because especially when you're like pulling this like this load of logs, and you're in like this back trail that it makes you go on, and you're like winching from tree to tree to try and get through all this fucking mud, and you deliver those logs, and it goes delivered, and you're like, oh fuck, that was so good. Yeah, it was. It reminds me of that off-road game that we used to play on the computer all the time, right? I don't fucking remember what it was called.
Off-Road Fury?
No, not Off-Road Fury.
No.
The one where it was literally the car, like it was literally the trucks and shit, and you would get like the realistic damage
Smuggler's
and stuff.
Run.
Yeah,
Smuggler's Run. Yes.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. So that's me. Mud Runner, American Wild, Snow Runner comes out on the Switch on the 18th. So in like
or
7
now
days.
if you have a PC.
Yeah.
Heyo.
Yeah.
Is that a game I gotta get now?
If you want to play some Farm Sim 2019, me and Ryan got you.
I don't have the thing up still.
I can run a server. It's not that hard. We can only do it for streams anyway. We've been planning this for years.
Okay.
Years.
Okay.
We could just play Farm Simulator in the background.
Wouldn't
Go
be
ahead,
the first
Ray.
time I've done that.
All right. So my recommendation this week is a podcast called Business Wars. Fucking awesome podcast, even on a normal basis. They talk about the history between some of the biggest companies in the world duking it out over things like copyright issues and like just basically trying to survive. And they just finished a 6-episode series on the vaccine wars that happened in the last year. It is some of the most in-depth. They do like recreations within the podcast. There's 6 episodes that are all like around a half hour each. It goes very in depth into what happened from the moment the outbreak started to the beginning of 2021 when the vaccines were released. And it is one of the most interesting stories that I've been wondering about for the past year. And it's one of those things that is going to be taught to kids from like now on. And it's a very interesting listen. So that's Business Wars, the podcast, and they have Vaccine Wars is a 6-episode run that they just finished.
Neat.
Highly recommend it.
I like zombie stuff.
My Yankees just won, if anybody was wondering.
Nobody cares. It's not the Red Sox. Did you ever put that?
They're not your Yankees. It's a team of people that have nothing to do with you.
Did you ever put that Yankees banner I got you for Christmas up yet? Or, I ordered it off Wish.
Wish.
Fuck you, John.
It took him like 5 months to get it.
Well, no. So, all right, Laura, you don't know this, but we actually did a Wish-based gift exchange, and I'll send you the picture of what I got. But Justin's present still has not arrived to my house, and I ordered it in fucking September. So what I did was the day before the show, I went to Savers and I just made a corrupted wish Christmas present. Like I got him salt and pepper shakers, but there was only like half of them in the box. I got him something else, and then I also got him a New York Yankees baseball placard thing, but it was really just a Red Sox thing, just to fuck with them. Because
it says Boston Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
Or I am a Boston Red Sox fan or something like that.
I'm like, you're a big old Yankees fan. I got this for you. Just as Boston Red Sox. He's like, fuck you, John.
I took whiteout and I put whiteout over the fan and I wrote hater. And it's in my display case.
And that's a German stuff about sports.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So
okay, Laura, it's your turn.
Yeah.
So a video game, anything you want.
Or just yourself going, ooh, ooh.
Let's see. So I play a lot of games as a streamer. Like I guess the game that I currently would recommend, and it's because it's a game that isn't widely streamed or played, and that would be Don't Starve. Don't Starve is kind of funny since we were talking about like farming type games.
Yeah.
Don't Starve is a very like simple, quiet game. You think that you're gonna go in there for like a very peaceful time. You're just gonna like pick flowers and berries with your friends and do some farming. But then like on the 32nd or 33rd day in like the beginning of winter, you get attacked by a giant cyclops, and your whole entire world is turned upside down. And then frog rain. You know, who knew? It's a great game, mostly with friends. You can play it solo. It's not widely streamed. So if you want to get into streaming, that is a great game to stream because not many people stream it. So when you play it and you stream it, you'll be on that first page, easy to see. And I really enjoy it, especially with my friends. If each person picks a role, then you're good. And I play it solo a lot of times. Highly recommend Abigail, because you have a creepy little ghost sister that like kills things. And also, oh my god, there's a bunny
and a kitty.
My kitties.
No, my kitty.
Oh yes. Oh, of course my cat like deserted me.
I will also tell you folks at home, if you do decide to follow Laura on Twitch, do beg her to play more Phasmophobia and ask her to have me on it. Because I go very BuzzFeed when I play that game, where I'm just like, what's up, ghosts? It's me, ya boy. And then I call them like fuck faces and get them to attack me. All the while, it just adds to the fun and the silliness. And it's just way too much fun. Cannot wait to get back into that game, but it terrifies the fuck out of me. So
am I hearing that we'll make it off here in a few minutes? You're gonna come play some Phasmophobia with me?
Maybe. I gotta make sure that my shirt for Saturday fits because I'm a fat fuck now.
Ayo, just blame it on COVID.
It is COVID's fault.
Very nice. Okay, so that's the end. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our page.
Hey, Laura, can you tell the fans what to do at home?
Oh, okay, there you go.
Oh, hey fans. Hello, all you friends out there. If you could like, subscribe, and follow. The link will be down in that area location. The dooley do, as our good Riv likes to say. Don't look at my nails. They're absolute trash. I'm getting them redone. But yeah, it's all right down there. Do the thing. It makes you semi-cool for listening to these cool people that I only just met. Most of them. They're awesome. It's not the wine talking at all.
Let's make it a Scotch talking.
Well, it was very cool meeting you too. If you're listening to this on Spotify or any other podcast platform later, make sure to visit our YouTube page, watch some of the live versions because we do some kooky shit that you don't get the full effect of when you listen to us in an audio format. And also check out on Tuesdays and when we do our live shows, so you can catch the episodes live instead of like a month later. when it finally comes out in audio
I
format.
think we've definitely busted it down. I mean, it used to be about 6 months out. Now I think we're down to about 2.5.
We've busted it down.
I helped with one episode.
Yeah, you.
I've done it all.
Episode.
I am the genius behind all of their.
In fact, Laura is our new editor. Congrats, guys!
Oh,
I'm an editor now.
I do marketing for a LARP experience and entertainment. So I have some experience. I will probably fucking ruin it all. Don't make me do Excel spreadsheets, please.
No, it's fine. It's fine. John just busts my balls because I'm the one editing and posting it, and I don't do it fast enough for him.
With all of your giant plane crashing explosion scenes that you had playing behind you.
Oh man, we didn't even talk about Godzilla.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone say goodbye so we can go off live. Say night.